thanks, Nick. Thanks a lot for the invite to be here. Thanks to the other speakers, and thanks for everybody who connected. My name is Fabricio Miranda. I'm the founder and CEO of Flieber. Flieber, I'm going to talk about inventory in 10 minutes. It's almost impossible. I agree 100% with Nick. You will see that I have a slide saying that inventory is a necessary evil. So basically, Flieber is an inventory planning platform. We're multi-channel. Our customers sell between $1 million and $150 million. So we have a broad range. They're usually Amazon or Shopify native, but they sell in multi-platforms. We have customers selling wholesale also. So our platform consolidates all of that and tries to make this necessary evil less of an issue. So we're trying to simplify inventory decisions and help you make those decisions in less time than you would. Our customers say things like these: game changer, powerful and customizable, easy to plan stock, simplifies decision making, saves significant time, and true trusted partner. If you want to go to g2.com and search for Flieber, you're going to see more reviews from customers. Anyways, talking about complexities when expanding to the US and EU in 10 minutes. What a challenge. I'm going to try to be brief here. I'm going to be a little superficial. I will send the presentation to everybody later. It has more content on the presentation. And I will also offer 30 slots for a one-on-one if anyone wants to connect with me directly to talk about inventory challenges. I will post the link in the end of this presentation. Anyways, inventory is a necessary evil. So that's the first concept that I wanted to align with everybody. In other words, it's the most important asset of your company, and it's where you can lose all your money and you can lose all your company overall. You know, I usually say that companies that die, they usually die rich in inventory and poor in cash. So that shows how dangerous inventory is. So the dream would be not to have inventory. The dream would be for you to have a sale to a customer, and then that sale goes to the supplier. Supplier produces the product, sends to the customer, and the customer gets in 2 hours. Impossible today. Maybe impossible forever, we never know. We have the reality, which are MOQs, production lead times, container costs, shipment lead times, trucking costs, imperfect forecasts, and a bunch of others. So this is more close to the reality, buffers of inefficiency. This is a real supply chain of a real customer of ours. You see here that all of these little boxes in this red space are inventory nodes, and I call them buffers of inefficiency. They just exist because you were not able to do what I said now, to do a straight process. So you have to create a buffer here. And then you're not able to still do it. You have to create another buffer. So always see inventory locations as buffer of inefficiencies. To have efficient inventory, you have 3 basic rules. The first of them is that you want to make replenishment decisions as late as possible. The latest, the more accurate. So basically, for deciding something that you're going to sell tomorrow, you're going to be very accurate. If you're deciding today something that you're going to sell 180 days from today, you're not going to be very accurate. So try to build a structure, and I'll show a little bit more about that, where you're pushing your final decision towards closer to the date that you're going to actually sell those items. Second rule, order as few products as possible. Everybody's afraid of stockouts. You should be, but you should be even more afraid of overstocks, because that's how companies die. That's where you trap your capital, and you don't have capital. You become stranded in that situation. So avoid capital risk. So ideally, order as few products as possible, more often as possible. And I know there's constraints. You can do that, but that would be the ideal world. Third rule, keep inventory as centralized as possible. So if you have nodes of inventory all over, you might be stocked out of a product here and overstocked of the same product here. If those 2 stocks were combined, you wouldn't have this problem. So having centralized inventory is the most efficient. Once more, this is theory. In practice, it's hard to do all of that to the extreme, but these should be rules that you should follow all the time that you can. Next, always calculate the cost. If you need to create an inventory node, always calculate the inbound shipment cost, storage costs, capital requirements, stock out, overstock risk, fulfillment costs. And you will see that many times it's going to be cheaper for you to be less efficient than to create a new inventory node. And I'll show an example 2 slides from now. Anyways, this is just to set the stage. Now let's talk about how to actually operate based on what we see our customers doing in the past 5 years. We have over 700 stores connected. So This is the base model that I'm going to start with, pre-expansion. So let's assume you are in the US, you have Amazon US, Shopify US, and Wholesale US. And let's assume that Amazon US is fulfilled by FBA. FBA is fulfilled by 3PL, so 3PL transfers units to FBA. And 3PL also fulfills the orders from Shopify and Wholesale. So you have a purchase lead time to the 3PL, we have a transfer lead time to the FBA, and you have a multi-channel forecast here, which is already a little complex. Now, phase one of the expansion is measure intent. So basically what you want to do now is to test that market to see if the market makes sense. So in the case of Amazon, it's really hard to measure intent without having an FBA presence because FBA makes a huge difference in the way you'll sell. So we see our customers opening the FBA presence from the beginning and sending products from the supplier straight to FBA for the beginning. They send SPD. They're not going to make a lot of money. They're probably going to lose money, actually, but they're testing the market. For Shopify, we see customers opening a Shopify store and fulfilling internationally. So that is also counterintuitive because everybody's going to say, oh, it's too expensive and it's going to take too long. People are not going to buy. Yes, you're right, but you're measuring intent. So if you're able to capture that intent of the people who are going to the cart, wanting to buy that product and seeing the cost and the time and giving up, that's already good. You're measuring intent. That's all you need. Once you measure intent, set infrastructure. So basically what you want to do here is to start investing a little more to be a little more efficient than you were before. So in this case, when you open a 3PL in Europe, you can also expand to FBA UK. We have customers that also have a 3PL in the UK, a dedicated one, but we have customers that keep one centralized 3PL in Europe. And you're able to push the Shopify fulfillment to this 3PL. So now you don't have the constraint anymore of having a long lead time and the cost to send products internationally. So this is the intermediate infrastructure. So the complexities is you have a portfolio in a new region. You have now two FBAs feeding from the same 3PL in this case. You have international shipment from the 3PL to FBA UK because you have a tax implication, but you are already more established than you were before. As for tips, try to unify the portfolio for the whole European continent. This is another important step. Nick said that, and I had that in my previous slide, which is define a portfolio based on local culture and habits. A lot of times we see our customers with a bestseller in the US going to Europe with that same bestseller, thinking that they're going to sell like crazy, and they sell zero. And it's because of different culture, different types of products that people buy. Nick said Europe is a lot more focused on quality. So anyways, think about the portfolio. And this is the most important step that I'm seeing happening a lot lately, which is push the inventory to China. Nick mentioned SKU Drop. SKU Drop is one of the companies that do that. And why doing this is very clever. Because now you are, every time you're replenishing for all your locations combined. So you put one PO to your supplier for all the demand that you have. And you only have to make the decision of where to send this demand at the end of the production. So one of the rules I said there before is try to make the decision closer to the date that you're going to sell those products. This is what this is enabling. This is also enabling a second thing that is very important, which is if you had the 3PL in each location with the buffer of inventory and you needed inventory suddenly in the EU because of some problem and you don't have in the 3PL EU, bringing it from the US would be really hard. But if this inventory is in China, you can't just send anywhere at any time. So this is a trend that we're seeing more and more brands following. And I think this is a very clever way to operate in today's retail. And you can also expand to multiple countries using the same central 3PL infrastructure. And I think I could make in 10 minutes, Nick. I could. Good. Okay. So I sped up as much as possible. Anyway,
okay. Well,
anyway, just schedule your one-on-one inventory deep dive. I'm going to paste this link. Do we have a chat here, Nick, where I can paste the link?
yeah, we have a chat in the Q&A session.
Chat. And I'll also paste the link to a demo. If you want to see a demo of Flieber anytime, just go to flieber.com/demo. And you want to talk to me directly, fm@flieber.com. So as we say here, start fleebing, and thanks a lot, everybody, for being here.